What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're going to jump in with a quick guide on the Chalice of Opulence and the loot inside of the Menagerie mode. It's kind of a breakdown of how it all works, what loot you can get right now, and what is going to be worth saving as you upgrade the Chalice, because yes, there is a bit of investment involved here to actually get a lot of the juicy rewards from the Menagerie. And so I wanted to break it down in this video, guys. If you enjoy it, a rating below really helps me out, but now let's get into it. So the first thing you'll need to do is finish the invitation quest from Benedict. This is pretty basic. It will ultimately lead you into the Menagerie and kind of teach you how the basic Chalice of Opulence works. Now the loot situation, that's probably why many of you guys are here, and it's worth saying that it is early days when it comes to Chalice of Opulence. It's something that takes quite a long time to upgrade, and will take a bit of time for the community to kind of gather information about, although we do have a couple of drops we can talk about in a second. But it appears that early on, you can randomly get new weapons as opposed to old weapons when you use the appropriate rune. So firstly, we'll have purple runes. 2 of these are capable of rewarding weapons, SMGs from the Rune of the Beast, and snipers from the Rune of Jubilation. And as you've probably noticed, existing pre-DLC weapons are featured in this loot table, so if you use a rune in the top slot of the Chalice only, then you have that kind of full RNG element and you could get DLC weapons or old weapons. So until we know the combinations for different weapons, we are going to have to live with a little bit of RNG. And again, the Chalice will require certain upgrades before you can start really zeroing in on specific drops, and I'll explain that in a moment because it will be a reasonable time investment. However, we do know the combinations for the Chalice mini tool and the beloved sniper. So for the sniper, you'll need a Rune of Jubilation in the top slot, and then any red rune in the second left-hand side slot. So the top one is the weapon, and the red rune in slot 2 will always have the effect of guaranteed average rounds per minute on the drop that you're getting. And that average RPM is referencing the adaptive frame of the beloved sniper as far as we know, and this kind of overrides the possibility of getting a non-menagerie weapon. You can also acquire the Chalice mini tool by using the Rune of the Beast or SMG rune on the top slot, and then any excellent rate of fire rune in slot 2. So this has given us random rolls of these weapons. I should also mention that I don't have the Masterwork slot upgraded yet, and as far as we know, the first 2 slots are the main ones which will affect getting specific drops. The third is simply for additional Masterwork stats and stuff like that. You can also farm the non-menagerie weapons with specific combos, so for example, you can get the Twilight Oath Sniper by combining a Rune of Jubilation in the top, and then a Rune of Joy or Rune of the Beast, the excellent Rate of Fire rune, in the second slot. And so those are the weapons that we know the specific combinations for at the moment, and because we don't know all of the loot codes yet, I would recommend that you guys kind of save runes where possible and focus on doing your Chalice upgrades. For example, if you upgrade the Rune of Compatibility 1, you unlock the ability to earn red runes, which can drop class-specific arm and leg armor, as well as power weapons. So with the red power weapon rune, it is apparently possible to get an RNG drop of the Menagerie machine gun. However, this time, because the machine gun is high impact, in theory, we'll need a low round per minute trait rune, and according to the database, that option only comes on green runes. So before we can look at guaranteed drops of the LMG, by the looks of it, we would need Chalice slots 1 and 2 unlocked, as well as rune compatibility 1 and 2, which allow red and green runes to start dropping. So that's where the upgrades come into play. I'll keep you posted on specific drops as we uncover them, but now I'll explain the upgrades and how to get them, as well as rune drops. And this is the main bit kind of worth understanding right now as we figure out more of the specific loot drops. So to explain how the Chalice works, of course you're introduced to the basic node first, and this will allow you to slot runes of any color. And again, that top slot will define what type of gear you're going to get. So we'll start with access to purple runes, but in order to get runes of any other color, we'll need to upgrade the Rune of Compatibility slots. So slot 1 gives you red runes, which can be used for class-specific arm and leg armor, as well as power weapons. And it's worth noting that until you upgrade each of these, the respective color runes won't begin dropping in the game. Upgrade 2 will allow green runes to start dropping, and they can drop head armor, hand cannons, and sidearms. So if you want the new hand cannon from Menagerie, you will have to have the green rune slot unlocked. And finally, upgrade 3 will grant blue rune drops, which guarantee class-specific chest armor, fusion rifles, and shotguns. As we mentioned before, we will also get specialization and masterwork runes in all colors, and sometimes, like in the case of the low rate of fire specialization, the perk is only available on green runes, and I would personally recommend upgrading the masterwork slot later on and saving your Imperials for rune compatibilities and other upgrades, since they're going to be most useful for actually getting new loot. Now, on the Chalice, we have rune bonuses. These grant more runes, will refund runes when you use them and grant chances at additional non-powerful reward drops on clears, so I would personally wait to upgrade these later on since they won't help you get much more of the new loot if that's what you're after. But there is also power and efficiency, and you'll probably want to unlock the first node, which grants you new chests to open on the Nessus Barge, and these award runes and Imperials to upgrade the Chalice, so they're pretty huge. But also the second node will allow you to purchase a consumable that grants Imperials, and in the process of doing upgrades, this is going to be pretty important as well. Now, in terms of getting Imperials, there'll be 4 weekly bounties, and these are available at the vendor at the Nessus Barge. Each of them will grant a treasure chest when you complete them, and when you go find this treasure chest that's located on the map, you'll be granted with a bunch of Imperials, but also the Barge chests that I just mentioned. These will require that specific first upgrade in power and efficiency, but once you've got them, you can open them once each week, and they will cost 5k glimmer each, but again they'll reward Imperials as well as runes. On top of this, to earn Imperials, look out for the Triumphs, and these are in Destinations, Minor, and then Menagerie. There are some pretty easy triumphs you can get done with the team, and of course as we power level up, they'll get easier to complete, and will reward these Imperials, and that's on top of the consumable that you can buy from the vendor, which increases the opportunities to earn them. For runes, you can also get them from Barge chests, so if you want to earn some different coloured runes this week, in the first week, it might be worth upgrading the node that allows you to get different coloured runes dropped, and then opening Barge chests, but also Strikes, Gambit, Crucible, and the additional consumable that can be found at the vendor, which increases the chances in those game modes, will also grant you runes randomly. Again though, to get blue or green runes, you will have to have unlocked the perk in the Chalice that can allow those to start dropping. So maybe a bit to take in right there, guys, but like I said, it's fairly self-explanatory. There are mainly a few things to point out, and what I will do is keep you posted on guaranteed methods to getting certain weapons and things once we know what those combinations are going to look like. In terms of runs right now though, if you want to farm the chest multiple times, if you do have multiple runes available, you can actually open the chest once when you finish Menagerie, and then run to one of the separate areas of the Menagerie, so until you hit a different loading zone. Once you're there, insert another rune, and then if you run back to the chest, you can actually use that to open the chest once again, and each time you will have chances at random drops, but once again, we have a little bit of work to do before we know exactly how to get specific items. So guys, for now, that is going to summarize what I can tell you on day 1 about the Chalice of Opulence and the Menagerie. I'll keep you posted over the next couple of days because I'm sure we'll be uncovering plenty of combinations and finding certain rewards. But if you have enjoyed the video for now, a rating below is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe. Here's a little bit of gameplay of a boss encounter inside a Menagerie in case you haven't checked it out yet. But otherwise, have fun with the grind, and I will catch you all very soon.